Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Fallen.
I'm Lid.
I'm Dias.
And I'm Supreme. Has anybody ever thought it was weird that? Has anybody ever thought it was weird that Fallen? Oh, it says welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, who would come
It's,
back?
it's
Everyone
I don't.
leaves.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
honestly.
I always thought
Yes.
it was a weird way to intro the podcast. Anyways, you do you, Fallen. Far be from me to
I mean, people
criticize you,
people
Chief.
do like. What do you think would be a better intro? Would it be like? Oh, it would just be welcome to the.
Yeah, maybe.
There was an obvious answer all along. Damn
Well, no, you know what? I like welcome back better because that implies that people are listening more than once. So I'm down.
it.
They actually love us.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be
It's
nice.
true.
They like us. They really like us.
All right. Fake. The fake sharing.
Wait, what? No, that was last. It was question. We were gonna do questions first, and then we were gonna do that at the end.
I mean, pick the questions carefully because we're
Alright.
not going to get through all of these ones.
Which we definitely didn't pick. By the way.
All right. We'll start with the questions first. All right.
Yeah, shoot.
So okay. So the first question is it's from user. Are there any fakes that you are personally looking forward to seeing being updated?
So I think I've talked about mine. Uh, so I don't think it's worth talking about. But the My Life as a Villainous fic that I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it before on this podcast, but it's called Looking Through the Glass or something. It's just like a really well written fic, but it's in a very obscure franchise, so I don't know if anyone's gonna really care about
I
it.
heard you mention it before, but I thought you were talking about one that you planned on writing.
Oh no,
Yeah, same here.
Oh yeah, I talked about. So I wrote one, and it's like, it's a long fic, and it's really interesting, and I'm never gonna finish it.
Mm-hmm.
But on another note, there's
Mood.
also one that other people have written who are actually good at writing, and I really wish they would finish theirs.
Aw, Dias. That's so sad. We love your writing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
As for me, I can't really think of like a series specifically that I can think of off the top of my head that I know is gonna continue and that I'm super excited to hear about. Like I'm reading Lid's Infected one, and like that just got updated, so I can't even really say that.
Hey, free promo.
Yeah, free Lid promo by the way. Shameless unintentional plug.
I found the fic I was talking about,
Yeah.
Through the Looking Glass, by Lukey. Extremely good. Could not. If you're interested in My Life as a Villainous fan fiction, unironically, this is the #1 fan fiction for that fandom. It is so good.
What's the hit count?
Through the Looking Glass by Lukey.
No. Like, how many hits does it have?
I don't know, a fucking lot.
Hell,
Great answer.
that's a sweet number.
It's 70,000 hits, so that's how you know it's
Oh
good.
fuck,
Wow. Holy
that
shit.
is an insane amount. Fallen, how about you?
I don't really have any fakes that interest me these days at all. Maybe one of them, but it's called Baby Maybe from Minami Chun. I think that's in fanfiction net, but other than that, there's nothing else that I'm reading at the point because I'm having school right now, and I'm not very free to read stuff.
Understandable.
Yeah, that happens. That's kind of like been the theme recently. It's like either people are writing a whole bunch of stuff so they're not free to read a bunch, or they're like in school. That's just kind of what happens this time of year.
I'm not writing or reading because I'm too busy to do shit in school.
At least your grades are good, right?
No, it's not.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that.
Pretty much. Lid, what about you?
I don't have any fics right now that I'm looking forward to being updated because I had time to not reading. I'm writing a lot more than I'm reading, so
That's what I'm saying.
I guess whatever catches my eye, then maybe I'll wait for it. But even then, I don't read fics that aren't done, so that's a rule. I can't do it to myself.
And I feel like our community specifically, like Love Live in general, we mainly do a lot of one shots or 1 to 2 chapter fics. And then that's kind
Yeah.
of just the end of them or whatever. I can't think of a lot of ongoing.
Yeah, I think we just do a lot of one shots because we do a lot of shipping, right? Like if you look at
Hmm.
a lot of like brand new fandoms, there's a lot of like fanfics that pop up for say Demon Slayer, right? And they're not a lot of shipping
Mm,
fics. There are a lot of like adventure or exploratory fics or character stuff. Or like people
mhm.
invent their own backstories, or oh, here's Deku, but he's evil, right? And I think with those kind of fics, you need a lot more to make them interesting, right? You can't just be like, oh, here's his backstory, right? Well, that's kind of boring if you just did that. So people like to go a little bit like further with those kinds of fics. But if you're just like, here's two girls, they kiss. Um,
Nice.
not to say those
Our specialty.
are like less
Yeah.
interesting, right? But they're easier to do, and they're much like they don't need as much setup or build up or any of that.
Yeah, like we're not writing complex fight scenes or anything like that, right?
Yeah, we're not doing like crazy love triangles or really exploring characters.
Yeah, I had to write a backstory for a Final Fantasy like D&D AU that we were working on like last week or something, and I didn't even try, and I wrote down like 9K words of backstory just off the top of my head. I'm like, man, if I ever tried to make like a actual story out of this would be not hard at all.
All right, so we'll go on to the next question. This is from Max Nico. For the whole group, what do you think your best girls would say about your fakes?
You want to start, Fallen?
You first.
Who I first?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know how I don't know how she will react. Honestly, I really don't know.
Talking
Katori
about
is a
Katori, right?
hard character to get down because the
Yeah.
fandom version of her is so separated from who she is in the actual show.
Yeah, I feel like she's a very like nervous laugh kind of girl, like through life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could
I
feel
think
that.
she would just be okay with it, and that's all, I guess.
I feel like Katori would be very polite even if she didn't like it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what.
Like if she didn't like it, she'd be like, "Oh, that's interesting" or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Somehow, yeah. All right. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go next. Um
Yeah.
I'm going to err on the side of all my safe for work fan fictions just for the sake of, well, I guess I could do both.
Yeah, I
Um
would say the the less safe for work interactions are more interesting, aren't they?
Yeah, I like to think. I don't want to be cliche because I know how everybody hates the like Mari's super into NSFW cliche, but like
I don't think
I like
anyone
to
hates
think that she'd
that.
be like no, but it's overused. You know what I mean?
I
And
guess.
but I like to think that she'd be like, ooh, bit cheeky or whatever.
I think
She's definitely a fun one for that.
I think something that's like definitely if you look at Fanindaya is what is either like super like safe for work all the time or like a closeted sort of not safe for work person, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
between
Mm.
those two extremes, I would say like definitely I like the interpretation that Daya would be like in her room reading her own fan fiction, being like, "Ooh, people really like me."
Oh, that's good.
So
Yeah, I like the idea that Daya would be like reservedly like reading fan fiction in her spare time and being like, "Oh, that's pretty good." Like, and
Yeah,
then
I mean,
what are you
like,
reading, Daya? Oh, nothing. Don't worry about it.
I mean, definitely, like, did I ever tell you guys about the server I got banned from?
You got banned.
oh,
So,
story time.
okay, this is gonna be Bandori drama, right? Um, I mean, I shouldn't tell it. Basically, it's weird
I shouldn't
reading.
tell it.
People
Don't
don't
make me cut this
like
out, Dias.
reading. People don't like reading fics about themselves, right? So what happened was there was a girl and she really liked this character Eve, and it was her birthday, and so I hit her up. I was like, "Hey, do you want me to write you some smut for your birthday?" And she was cool with it, right? She seemed like, "Oh yeah, that'd be great, thanks." And so I wrote it,
Yep, yep.
and like she was polite about it. She was like, "Oh, thanks," but it was like the sort of short, polite It's like thanks smiley face
Hmm.
or something like that.
Mm.
And then a week later, I
Uh.
got banned from the server.
Oh man, did they
No
with
explanation.
explanation or?
No explanation. I found out like after that it was like, actually it's kind of a situation you're in now, Supreme, where it's like, she just like wasn't that into not safe for work. She just like, I guess,
Oh
accepted it
god,
out of kindness, and then like got really weirded out. You know?
man, I could see that
uh.
how that situation would put her in that kind of weird
Like
like kind of limbo.
it's uncomfortable
But
to
that warrants a
read
ban.
other people's writing if it's about you, right? And so I think no matter what, not to kick Lid out of this conversation and not let her speak, but I think no matter who it is, it's gonna be hard for them to really get into fics of themselves. I don't know, Lid. How would you interpret your best girl?
Uh. Uh. I don't
I
think.
guess like your fics are safe for work, so
Ooh.
you're safe from the question anyways.
Yeah. I think if you were to look at all my fics, I think she'd probably be a little weirded out the fact that she's paired with Rico and like probably over like 20 stories by now. Uh,
Yo, you got the monopoly
I
on the
really,
fandom.
yeah, honestly, I don't know. Maybe she'd just be like, kind of just like Katori would be, just like, oh, that's cool. You know, you do you. You're doing what you like. I guess.
That's an interesting thought process to take with that, like how she would see you writing that ship specifically over and over again.
Yeah,
Yo doesn't strike me as someone who would be like especially online a lot, so she also just like might not see it. Like
that would be like the
Hmm.
big bear.
like
Like
someone would bring
what?
it up to her at like a fan meet or something, and she'd be like, "Oh, cool," and then she'd never hear
Yeah,
about it again.
I would hope it would be like that.
Yeah,
I don't want
it's
to be
like a
known for that.
realm totally out of her world or whatever, basically.
Damn extroverts
Yeah,
going outside and shiz.
God, what is that like?
I don't even know, man.
Yeah, no, I like to think.
All
Sorry to
of
bring it back to
my
me for a
group
second. I feel like my
activities
answer was way too short,
Among
but
Us.
like, yeah, like Dia said, kind of with Dia, it's like, oh, she'd be like super reserved reading it in her room, and I feel like Mari would just be like reading smut of herself like in public.
I mean, part of it is
Like
just
the
like
first years walk up to her and they're like, "What the hell are you reading?" And she's like, "Oh, you want to see?"
part of it is I
Huh?
think just like a lot of people have like this really, I don't want to say masculine, but like this like Chad Mari in their fics, right? Like Mari in fan
Yeah.
fiction is so much more powerful than, and to be fair, in the actual show and in the actual franchise, she is still like very like confident in herself, right? But like I think
Oh
people
no, for sure.
take it to another level in fan fiction, as they do a lot of things, right?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier. With like, it's kind of exaggerated and kind of overdone. And I know recently when I've been writing, I've been trying to write her more of that emotional side and more of that like deeper side to her character, as opposed to just being like haha XD, it's joke all the time. But it's a work in
Uh,
progress. I like to explore all of the different angles, and I think that you could probably do both if it was the case of her reading her own fan fiction. I feel like she would also be like the type of girl who would pull you aside to like tell you she really really liked, like, oh, you wrote 10,000 words just about me. Ooh woo.
Oh god.
at least it's appreciative.
I don't think Mari is the type who would flirt with her fan. I think that
You don't think
might
so?
be, yeah, because like I'm trying to think about like how she interacts with like non-Aquars members, and I can't really remember, but I'm pretty sure she's like different, no, with people she's just not
I don't
familiar
think they
with.
ever showed it.
Like okay, like think
I can
about
only
like
remember
the
one
first
scene.
scene she's in where she's in the helicopter, she almost kills the second years, right? Like she's
Good
Hmm.
like
times.
talking confidently, but she's not as flirty, I think. I don't know. This is me microanalyzing a memory right now because I don't really remember that scene very well. But I could swear she's like different to them than than she is with when she's comfortable with them. I'm not sure.
From my recollection, when they go back to the student council room, is when she gets flirty. But like that initial scene on the beach, she's like just kind of salutes them or whatever, and then it cuts.
Yeah, it's hard to say on that one though, because she's like in a helicopter and they're like so far away.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what?
Yeah, exactly. I just think of the scene from the movie where they blow Chica's hat off. And I made that the intro for episode 3.
Feels bad. All right, should we get? Do you want to keep going down these questions?
Yeah, sure. We got one more, right?
Yeah, but I just wanted to ask Lid about this. If you check the chat, because you talked about Eureka, so and I remember I saw this
Ooh.
post.
Yeah,
I remember
we're-
I saw this.
Lid is
Yeah.
officially
So
famous now.
I know I peaked, honestly.
just for context, someone made a fan art of Eureka after reading Lid's fanfic. So yeah, that's actually quite good, though.
Dude, I've really peaked in life. Like, there's nothing better past this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to like have you like DM'd them or talked to them or thanked them at all for that or?
Yeah, when they tagged me in Tumblr, it's like, I immediately like replied back like, oh, it's like thanks so much. It's never happened. Like, thank you for being that person. It's pretty cool though, because like when I get talked about, like when it comes to Yoriko, it's always that fan fiction for some reason, and I didn't really enjoy it that much because like I don't know, a point in it, I just didn't like it, but I still made it because I'm like, fuck it. But I don't know, it's really nice to like, could that fix like a couple months old now, so I would think it'd kind of be like forgotten by now. More fics be made.
You're too good.
No.
They can't get away from you.
Honestly, like, if you like Eureka, I'm there. If you don't like me, it's like, that's too bad.
When people read the tag, they just scroll down and read all your fics all at once.
Something we talked about on the
Honestly.
server once, and I don't know if y'all remember what your answers were, but we talked about if you would commission fan art of your own fics. Would you guys do that?
Oh yeah. Lid doesn't have to.
I would.
Yeah.
I totally would.
If someone was like, "Oh no, I wouldn't do that," would you like look down on that, or do you think like, to each their own?
Teach their own.
Yeah, I kind of get it. Like, if it seems kind of like disingenuous to be like, I think this fic is good enough that I'm gonna commission artwork of it. But then at the same time, you could also think of it on the opposite hand, where you're like, I'm confident enough in this fic that I wrote that I want artwork of it, and I want to pair it using HTML or whatever to put it together with it. So it kind of works both ways that way.
Yeah. I mean, probably if you're.
I personally would love it. Like, I'm actually considering doing it like tomorrow even.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah, for that short little Hanamaru Mari one that I wrote, I fucking love that fic so much. I don't know if you've ever heard of the artist. His name's Wasteman.
I have not.
He's like a big like his art's really stylized, and he's doing commissions right now for like 6,000 yen or something like that. And I would really love if he like did a personalized version of that fic specifically.
It's like $60, I think.
Yeah, it's like, if I live in Canada, so my money's like horrible, but so it'd be like 80 for me. But
hey, you got the free healthcare though.
It's true. Advil, $0.
Oh man,
That's where I make all the savings.
Alright, we'll go on to the last question. Out of which Love Life girl would you write a complete arc overhaul for? Or which girl do you think that deserve a better arc?
This was asked by Wooby Writer, who
He's cracking his knuckles right now listening, I swear.
He's a very special personality, in that he loves to complain about things he likes.
We say that in the nicest way possible.
He's very passionate about not liking things.
It's true.
It's kind of impressive in a way.
He likes to stand by his guns too.
So I was gonna say that I don't really have an answer, but when I think about it, I'm gonna bring out the Bandori propaganda again. There is this character in Bandori.
It didn't specify fandom, so go for it.
No, he did. Love Life girl.
Oh, did he?
Oh, don't worry.
Yes, I just said it at the start.
Listen, this is gonna be a journey. Okay, I need you to bear with me.
He knew he was on this podcast, but it wasn't good enough.
So there is this girl in Bandori. Her name is Hagumi, and she is universally rated the least interesting girl in Bandori. She is consistently the lowest on like popularity polls, she's consistently like very like her fandom, like her like server is dead, right? She's not like super popular. But what's really interesting about her is the way they use her, and I think I've talked about this. I don't know, I don't think I talked about it with y'all. But the way they use her in stories is usually they use her as like an activator for other characters, if that makes sense. Like she sort of just like cheers other people on, and just by being positive, she encourages people. The band she's in is Hello Happy World, and their whole gig is like, oh, we make people smile. And so I think it's just like if you read Bandori stories, especially, it's shut the fuck up. If you read Bandori stories, especially, like the writing for a lot of the girls is very, very nervous. There's a lot of like inner monologuing and like, oh, can I do this? I'm not sure if I can do this, right? And in any story Hagumi is in, she never has that problem. She never has this moment of like, oh, can I do this, right? It's just like she just goes for it. Um and that's really powerful in a character because uh like in Bandori, when you have all of these shy characters, they look up to Hagumi in a way. And I think that's a really powerful thing for Bandori to explore. The reason I'm bringing all of this up is because I think this could have been done with Rin. And I think so in Love Live, Rin has one episode to herself mainly, but she has a lot of like little moments. I think the biggest one is going to be the one with Hanayo really early on, where it's like Maki goes out to Hanayo and they do their little singing practice, and then Rin comes up and Rin's like, "Hey, you're gonna join Muse, right?" And Maki's like, "No, she's gonna do it what she wants, right?" And they sort of like drag her to the roof together, like you have to, yeah, have to join Muse.
Yep.
And like I think they could have expanded on that more instead of what they ended up doing. So what they ended up doing with Rin was the skirt thing, right? The like, oh, she's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a tomboy. She likes sports, so like it's not unbelievable, right? If you're just watching the
Yeah,
show, it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like this like super out there as an idea. Like she's a tomboyish in nature. She's got short hair. And I think like if you were to like just compare her in the show's art style, I think most people would agree she's not like the prettiest girl. So it's like
No, and if I do recall, she rated pretty low initially when the show came out due to that, right?
that makes sense. Yeah.
I think.
So like her
I'm pulling that out of
her
nowhere,
arc
but
being around like her self-image and learning to accept who she is a little bit more, thinking of herself as pretty, like that's a great concept for a character, and it's a great concept for a show, uh for an episode, especially if like you're probably thinking you got to think a lot of little girls are watching the show, right? And it's a good message to send to them, right?
oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like in terms of the character of Rin, like maybe this is just the nature of having 9 girls, but I never especially thought she would be uncomfortable in skirts or about how she looked. She's already wearing like a number of rather revealing out. Because keep in mind this is in season 2, right? In season 1 they have that like America song where like they're not wearing a lot of clothes in the first place, right? And like so many times
Mm-hmm.
she's wearing skirts in the show. So for me it was kind of like weird that that she was nervous about this. And like it ended up being a good episode, but I think if there was a character I wanted to overhaul, I think Rin, they should have done more with Rin and the aspect of her character that is the Genki, but in like a different way to Hanukkah, right? Explore the way she's different to
Mm-hmm.
Hanukkah, explore the way that like Maki looks up to her, right? Because that's something you see a number of times. It's like Maki saying like, "Oh, I respect people like Rin and Hanukkah who are honest," right? Explore that honesty
Mm-hmm.
and how that affects other people and how that inspires other characters. And I think that would be good. Of course, as I'm saying that, most of the reason why I'm thinking of this is because I have like years of hindsight and I have Bandori, right? Bandori in itself,
Yeah, no,
like a lot of Bandori is
exactly.
evolving from Love Live, right? Because it came afterwards. So there's a lot of
Yeah,
hindsight.
and like, and that was the first show they ever like. I don't know if they did shows before Love Live, but that was the first Idol show they had ever done,
Yeah,
right? So all the character writing was like totally new to them.
yeah. It's not that Rin's arc is bad. It's just that when I look at like what Hagumi has going on right now, even though she is the least popular character in Mandori, I think the Love Live writers could learn a lot from her, the way she's used in stories and the way she's like her stories revolving around her are.
I gotta agree. I did like Rin's like second episode she got. Like I felt it was better than her initial one, where they put her in charge, like to be the leader of the group, and like she kind of like
Mm,
had these like self doubts in her. Like I liked that episode a lot better than I liked the whole like, oh, I don't look cute in skirts kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember liking that episode too.
Lid, I'm gonna hit you with it. Being the girl of the group, how do you feel
Yeah.
about wearing skirts and the message that? Well, I guess the message of the body positivity. I don't know.
Personally, I don't ever wear skirts because I'm not really comfortable in them. But I guess
Do,
like
do you think a
I
lot
didn't
of
have a
girls
problem.
are like not comfortable with skirts? Is this like a big problem?
I think so, definitely, because like it's just like a uh you just see like when you do see girls wearing skirts, they're just like all very like skinny and like fragile, so you think you have to be like that. Like you can't like it's just like the way somebody looks, you want to look like that, and if you don't look like that, you think you're not pretty. So I
Hmm.
think that's like it's just like you want to be like somebody else kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll say this: I feel like skirts are very much like a 18 years and younger type of thing. Like I don't see a lot of adults really wearing skirts ever.
Yeah, if they are, it's like pencil skirts, like for
Yeah,
business.
or yeah, or like down to your knees, kind of like.
Yeah, I can see like
Uh,
Hanamaru wearing a long skirt forever, right?
yeah.
Oh, 100%. Or like dresses is another big one.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking of like dresses, but it's not really the same thing, is it?
Mm.
No, and you can wear dresses in way more occasions than you can skirts generally, like going out to like at nights out and shit like that.
Yeah.
Haha, going out.
You mentioned Hanamaru. That segues great into my answer, which is I would probably rewrite Hanamaru. I've been knocking it back and forth in my head for a couple minutes now, listening to you talk, and I'm trying to decide whether or not it would be Hanamaru or Kanan.
Do you know how you would do it?
But how would you do it, Dias?
How would you do Hanamaru?
Oh, I thought you were saying you know how you would do it, and I
Oh,
thought you were
I
implying that
know
you had a
everything,
way
man.
that you
Don't
would do
even
it.
question it.
Oh God, you're reading my mind retroactively. Dias knows how this podcast is going to end before it even happens.
Probably with a meme.
He's going to tell everybody to fuck off again. That's a secret.
Oh shit, he's got me.
No, I probably would pick Hanamaru mainly because I like the stuff that Kanan has with Mari too much in the show. Even though, despite like, I wish she was in the show more, but I like the stuff that she has in the show already. So I really wouldn't want to change any of that.
Hold on.
I would most.
So quick thing.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry to interrupt you, but something I never understood was why is Kanan said to like never be in the show? I feel like she had a really big influence, like on so many parts of the show.
Yeah, and I think that's where I was just thinking about just now, and I'm like, you know what? She's like not the most focused on character, but her impact on the show is felt. Like she's not in the
Yeah,
background
I
at
can
all,
agree.
really.
I
Yeah.
think when people say she's invisible, I think there's like an Ellie aspect to Kanan, right? Where it's like she did her part, and then she just kind of sits there and lets everyone else do stuff. You know, because she chills out a lot in the second season.
Oh yeah, like post episode 9, really.
Interesting.
But yeah, I get that where it's like um she has her like her impact on the show, and people say she's not in the show very much because she's only in like 9 minutes of season 1 or something like that grand total. But those 9 minutes are all story beat, like developing the character and that type of stuff. So that's why I think that her arc is like fine. Whereas when it comes to Hanamaru, like all of season 1, she's like kind of a thing. But
Definitely, like
I
she
feel
had a
like in
really
season
big impact
2,
on Ruby's arc.
yeah,
Yeah.
and even to that degree, like she has an impact on her arc right up until Hanamaru's episode is over, basically, and then after that, she kind of just like she doesn't really do very much in season 1. Like she's kind of just
Does
there,
Hanamaru have an
and then
episode?
all of season 2. what? Yeah, no, her episode is technically the Ruby episode.
Oh, okay, I see.
Kind of like they're kind of intermixed together.
I hate that.
Yeah, because near the end, right? She like looks at the book and she sees Rin in the book or whatever.
Yeah,
After they all
I
convince
know
her
what
to
you're talking
join.
about. I would agree that those are like a
Yeah.
double 2-in-1 sort of situation.
Yeah, and it really sucks. Like I feel like she kind of got cheated, and then from there, she just really doesn't do much in season 1, and then season 2 it gets even worse because they just basically made her a punchline.
Mm-hmm.
And she's lovable as hell. Like, don't get me wrong, I still love the character. She's like probably my second favorite, but I really wish that if I had to rewrite it, I would rewrite her more to have more of an impact, basically, on the final product, like near the end.
Mm. She deserves it.
How I would do it, I don't know. I'm not a professional writer.
All right, we got
but,
2 left.
You'd
We
have
got
to
2 left. Keep going. One of you speak up.
Fallen, go.
fall and go.
Oh, dude, wait, no. Fallen's doing the most important thing. He's changing his profile pic so it's animated. Let go.
Yup, I just saw that.
Jesus. Okay. God, I honestly would rewrite so many characters, but
Lid's
just because
the master craftsman, so she's obviously
Lid is a professional writer. She can rewrite all of them.
she's of the 3 of us, of the 4 of us. She's the one who actually could do it.
No, but like I guess just because Yola's my favorite, I'd actually rewrite a part of hers, because I don't feel like what they did for her was good for her character. Like they
Love
like
triangle angst.
like how they did like Hanamaru and Ruby, they paired them together. I feel like for Yola's episode, it was just focused Yola on Chica, and it was like, why when you have like you could do Yola by herself, you know? Like she has her own insecurities, yes, but it's like I feel like it could have been done better. They just made it about Chica, and I think that's what made me dislike Chica, because how focused it was on her. You know?
Yeah,
So
I totally
you
get
didn't
that.
like that at all? The whole Chica
No,
jealousy arc?
I did not. And it's ironic because I love Yola the most, but I hate her episode. Like it just
I thought it made for a good episode, but it definitely didn't make for like a good Yo episode.
Yeah.
Like it definitely hurt her character for sure.
yeah, like I
Damn.
didn't there's no growth, I feel like really. Like it didn't feel right.
This might really piss people off and make me seem really sexist, but I feel like girls love the love triangle stuff. Like I feel like when I read romances and shows that I know are for girls, I feel like you see a lot of love triangle stuff.
I hate love triangles. It's awful.
Yeah, and we asked that question the other day in our Discord. It's like, how do you feel about love triangles? And I thought like everybody was like awful,
Yeah.
cliche. Get them
I
out
mean,
of
I
here.
feel like the Love Life fanfiction community is going to be the one to rebel against that, right? Because like we've had so many love triangle fics. It's kind of a crutch, really.
So how would you rewrite it, Lid? What would you change to make it better?
I would actually change what she is like, kind of just like what she needs to get over. I don't feel like it should have been Chica. I feel like it should have been something more internally. Like maybe something to do like her dad just like always being gone.
Have you ever read Yumi
Oh.
Cells? It's a
What?
Korean webtoon, Yumi Cells.
No, I don't think so.
Probably one of the
No.
most
Guys, you're so
interesting,
weird.
interesting concepts from that webtoon I'd seen. Was so the webtoon is about this girl Yumi, right? Well, specifically, it's about the
Uh-huh.
cells inside her, and the cells do things, and it affects her and stuff like this, right? It's a cute sort of romance thing. In
It's like Osmosis Jones.
one of the sort of story arcs that are in Yumi's cells, it explores this idea that Yumi prioritizes guys she's in love with above herself. Like she has like this internal list of people she cares about, and Yumi is number 2. And then like the show, I say show, it's a webtoon. The author shows you her boyfriend at the time, Woong's list, and Woong is number 1, right? And as
So
a
sad.
reader, you see that and you think to yourself, "Oh, this is going to be a source of conflict," right? And I think that can be probably said of like a couple characters in Love Live. Hanamaru definitely probably
Yeah.
doesn't put herself as number 1. I think if you did something with you where she doesn't put herself as number 1, that could be interesting. Yeah, it's 500 chapters. Dude, it's
Oh,
worth it.
Lord.
Yumi's Cell is so good. Like, actually, it ended like a week
Jesus.
ago, but it's so good. Just stop reading fan fiction and read this webcomic. It's really good. If you like romance stuff. If you don't like romance, I mean, there's also like a lot of love triangle stuff going on. So,
Oh,
but
love
it's like
triangles.
If it's done properly, like it's not the worst thing ever, but I feel like it's very rarely ever done properly. Where I'm like, oh yeah, that was the thing that needed to be included.
for me, the thing I
Yeah.
really love about Yumi Cells is how it explores like what's the word? Like confidence, self confidence, and believing in yourself, and this idea of like different motives through the cells. The whole concept of the show is based around cells inside Yumi's have differing opinions, right? So there's like a manners cell, there's like a emotional cell, there's a rational cell. There's a,
Sounds kind of like the movie Inside Out, honestly.
it's very similar, and a
Yeah.
lot of the comments will talk about that, like, oh, this is Inside Out, right? Um,
Mhm.
it's very similar, but it's explored in a much more romance oriented way, where it's like a lot about how she treats people in her life, how she treats specifically rival girls, right? Stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's a great show. Show freaking webtoon.
It's not a show, Dice. You
It's a
fool.
great read.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see that working though, like a father type situation with Yo, and that being the conflict as opposed. I feel like it'd be like a way more. You could bring that up again later on in the show too. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to just end there like it kind of did with Chica.
Yeah, like once that episode was over, it's like, oh, suddenly Yola's over everything. She's a great character now.
Yeah,
It's like, there's nothing from that.
they like never bring it up again. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they don't, though. I wouldn't like that. So I guess it's like happy it ended there, but I wish it was something else.
I mean, it was also towards like the end of the show, so like you don't have a whole lot
No,
left
it's the
to
first
explore.
season.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah, it was
was.
end of the first season.
Yeah, and then end
Okay.
of the second season, you and Rico make up.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's where it all gets good.
That's when it starts for you. The
Yeah,
Chica
I
Rico
think-
shippers are on season 1, and the you Rico shippers that's season 2.
Honestly, they're like so close in like the second season. Like every background picture, they're right next to each other, and I'm like,
They are.
why? You guys don't
actually.
even talk that much. But it's all good
But
for
they
me.
knew they were planting the seed.
Well, it's because
Yeah.
they do like and this is a whole freaking question on its own, but it's because they do all the year dynamic stuff with Aquars.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is a question we have in the pipeline. Actually, maybe that's for next
That's
week.
something we were doing for the question
First,
of the day,
though-
but we can do it here if you want.
Fallen. How about you?
Oh yeah, that guy's here.
We've been rambling for like several
You,
minutes.
dude, you gotta realize you gotta fight me for your screen time.
Honestly.
You gotta yell over Dias. Don't worry, I'll just mute all of Dias's audio. It can just be us talking to ourselves like crazy
Ah
people.
shit.
Wow. Alright, so I personally don't like Ellie's arc at all.
Who?
Because it took me a long time to understand
Ellie.
why.
Ellie.
Yeah,
Oh,
it just took me a long time to understand why she was like that.
I feel like everyone agrees with that.
It's like
You're
it's,
talking about
it's-
season. You're talking about season 1 specifically.
Yeah,
Hey?
season 1, episode like 1 to 8. Basically, the whole of her trying to go against the idol group, and then one moment she's like, "Oh, okay, fuck you," and then the next moment she's like, "Oh, I want to join," but I mean, like, what? I just don't understand a lot of it until like people started explaining it to me,
I think
and then I still don't understand.
before we get into how you would rewrite it, what do you think was the biggest problem? What do you think was the biggest like thing that you couldn't accept about her?
I mean, like, for the past, like, so example from like 1 to 5 or 6, she was so against it. She was like, okay, you know what, disband this idol club right now. And then like at episode 8, just that one episode, and just like in that few minutes, she just sounds like, oh, I want to join it, but I can't.
So for you, the biggest problem is just like the big
Yeah, like, it's like
change
the solution is just like, oh, here we go, one just a few minutes, but then you got like a whole six long episodes of problems that she just doesn't want them to like succeed or some shit like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me.
I didn't necessarily have a problem with the time itself. I think like you can absolutely have a character that's like acting one way. sorry,
I mean,
I'm
it's not about
eating my own point a
I
little
just
bit.
I just don't feel like no. I mean, the time doesn't really matter, although it still does. But I just feel that the solution to it, it's so short.
It was too
Yeah,
convenient.
okay,
It's just like
that's what I'm
it's just
trying to
like okay,
say,
here
right?
you go. Yeah, it's just like the whole point, the whole problem is like so big, and you make it sound like it's so big, but then the solution is just like this one tiny small bit, and then I was like. Oh, I was like, did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? This? Is it just this simple?
I think characters like that can be really interesting characters with this big twist to them, right? For me, like I didn't necessarily dislike Ellie's episode, but I get that like for it's like there's a big shift in personality from Ellie, right? Like she chills out a
Yeah.
lot after her episode. It's almost like nothing was ever a problem for her, right? And that's
Mm-mm.
totally fine if like she's gone through a big revelation or a big like character change, right? But I think
Ah.
what you're saying and what I think a lot of people would agree on, it's almost like if you remember Frozen, the character of Hans. Have you all watched Frozen?
Oh
Yeah.
I've never
yes.
seen Frozen.
Too
So
sweet and
one of the
movie.
biggest complaints about Frozen, and this some people don't see it as a real problem, but one of the biggest complaints is the character of Hans, who sort of he starts off as a love interest, and he has this really sudden shift in like motives and characters to become like a villain, right? Spoilers for Frozen. In like the end
Mm-hmm.
of the movie, he's a huge villain, right? And he's like the big bad basically that Elsa
Yeah,
and Anna
yeah,
have to
yeah. He
overcome.
is.
And a lot of people really took issue with him because the like his shift felt like it came out of nowhere, right? One second he's wooing a princess and he's doing all these nice things for a kingdom, right? Like bringing blankets
Mm-mm.
and things for people. And then the next minute he's like making threats. He's like extinguishing a fire so that the girl he's wooing dies, right? It's like too much of a shift, right?
From my point of view, it's quite obvious because he just wanted her inheritance or something like that, inheritance or something like that, if I remember correctly. But I don't have that grab about that movie. My grab is about like every Disney movie, a fucking movie, and then it's a song, and then after that it's another long part, and then it's a song, and then it's another long part, then it's a song.
Okay, well
Like Jesus
let's
Christ,
step
how,
away
how, how
from
many songs
Disney.
do you
Let's
have to
step
sing
away from
before you get to
Disney.
the
Let's
damn
talk about
song?
Ellie, right?
We've learned that Fallen does not like musicals.
For
How do you
shame.
survive Love Live?
Look, I'm okay with musicals.
Oof.
You know, Love Life does that too. But you know, it's annoying songs and songs that don't need to be there, like the Anna and the Han songs. I was just fucking my hair was standing the whole time. And then there was this stupid ass big song that went so big, and then it annoyed the shit out of me.
Dude, I
Um,
cannot
I
understand
think
what
you
you're
know what song I'm talking
referencing.
about.
I got
Definitely,
nothing.
this song is like so damn famous, and then you know it's worse when you know like you have a family member who loves singing it, and then you gotta hear it every single day till you want to die, but you can't.
So there's the real problem.
It's not the movie, it's the
Fallen heard
people
"Let
who
It Go"
follow
too
the
many
movie,
times,
as is
dude.
often the case.
You should have picked a different
Okay, but
movie.
how would you write it? How would you write it, Ellie?
Yeah, how would you change Ellie's
I mean,
arc
I
then?
wouldn't make her so complicated in the first place. I won't make her like you know have so much problems with the thing. Even if I wanted to make her have problems like the same problems as the enemy, maybe shorten down the problem. Like maybe the problem can be like maybe 3 to 4 episodes, and then the solution can be like 2 to 3 episodes, something like that. Because I just feel that the solution is just too short. I don't have any problems with like her problem with the idol, but I just have a problem with the solution. So I just feel that I'll probably either shorten the problem or I will like extend the solution.
That
Mm-mm.
makes sense. I can't say I disagree with you either on that point as well with Ellie. I mean, like I do agree that yeah, it was kind of just it was very quickly resolved.
I'm
I mean,
kind of
I mean to.
curious, Fallen,
Mhm.
what do you think the intention behind that arc was? Because it feels like I don't want to flame here, but it feels like you don't really understand what happened during Ellie's episode.
Yeah, that's why I'm just telling you. I do not understand up to now. Do you? I just said that at the start. I say like I have people explaining to me and I still don't understand.
Do you want me to try and explain it, or
I mean, I don't think that's needed. I just feel that I don't like Ellie's arc and that's all.
I would just
understandable?
like throw in there. Uh, just like a minor little thing I would have changed for Ellie is that she was just like bitching about how they danced and stuff, saying I was like really bad. But then like when she joined, she danced the exact same. So I feel like they should have just took that out in general.
I
Like,
think
don't complain about it. You're not gonna
that's
do it
a
better.
style thing more than anything else. I don't think that's it. Like as much as it would be nice if there's a visible change in the quality of the dance. I mean, even in Awkward, they don't do that, right?
That is funny though.
No, I mean it's even weird seeing like Ellie would be like the person going against when you see like the theme song of the first episode, you see her dancing, and you'll be like,
Oh
oh
yeah,
yeah,
that's
wow.
like in Sunshine too, where that's like, you see the intro and they're all like dancing together, and you're like, oh, Conan, you're all mad, huh? Well, you're gonna be not mad eventually, I guess.
We're gonna be friends no matter what you want.
That's the problem with anime intros spoiling the show.
Yeah.
It's a curse.
I mean, Love Live is just especially bad at it. Is the problem. So one thing with that did when you all first watched Sunshine, did the theme song have like a big impact on your viewing experience when it came to
No.
Mari and Kanan?
No, when I first watched it, I wasn't really looking for that type of stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Why did it affect you a lot?
Well, so I watched
Did it spoil it for you?
Love Live on YouTube at first, and so I didn't see the theme song at all.
Wait, what?
Oh,
Copyright.
wow.
Yeah,
It's funny.
because like so, I think I've fucking every single time
YouTube
I
was a
bring
different
up
time back then, man.
every single time I bring up something, I'm like, I think I've talked about this on the server before. I need to stop doing that. But
It's the server, not the podcast. They're different
I
things.
think I've brought this up before, but when I first started watching Love Live, I hadn't watched anime in a long time, right? I was watching some Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball was basically what got me back into anime after a really long time. Like I want to say like 8 or 9 years. And then like
Mhm.
when I started watching Dragon Ball and I started watching like the highlights on YouTube, the recommended feed just showed me Love Live clips and that's how I got in, right? With Nico Nico Ni memes and stuff like that. Um
Mm.
Oh yeah.
so like I watched Sunshine on YouTube and the whoever was posting the Love Live VODs cut off the intro and the ending songs. So I didn't really have that to like influence my
Oh.
opinion. And I wonder if that like changed how I viewed Daya compared to a lot of people because most people knew that Daya was going to be one of them, right? But I didn't.
Mm. Mm.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way, but I guess that would make sense actually.
Yeah.
You're a different breed, Dias, from the
I
very
am.
beginning.
I'm so special. I do wonder if like if more people. I mean, no, because like a big part of Daya and like why like they put her in the show as she is because she's supposed to be like an Ellie fake out, right?
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing of like Awkwards is just a Muse clone. Oh haha, just kidding. Like that's a big part of the appeal of the anime. And like Awkwards' story.
Yeah, they went with that like a lot for the first season especially.
Yeah, especially like the first I want to say like 5 episodes is like very similar to the Muse episodes, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So if anyone listening has no idea what I'm talking about, just like no, wait, we've talked about this on the podcast, haven't we? The whole
Talk
Wait,
about
what?
didn't we talk
no,
about
like,
Awkwards being Muse clones?
yes, we did.
Nah.
How that's
Oh.
I definitely remember that.
Might have.
We
I
did.
swear I
We did.
remember because like I've not had this conversation many times, but I love having it where it's like I think one of the clever things that Sunshine did was it made Muse fans think, oh, these are just more Muse, right? And then
Yeah, it baited him. It made him really angry at first,
yeah, because it's like, well,
if I do
Chica's
recall.
just a Hanukkah clone, Yu's just Kotori, Riko's just Doomy, right? And like, there's even like
People say that to this day as
yeah,
well.
because there's even lines that are the same, right? Like Riko has the same like Hazukashi line at one point. Yo has a very similar line about outfits to Kotori, right? So it's like, and like obviously
Mhm.
there's the personalities like similarities, but that's like so. some people are going to be really confused why I'm like sounds like I'm complimenting this. The reason I'm complimenting this is because it's a fake out, right? It's like you start off and you're watching the show, you're like, oh, that's Ellie, oh, that's Hanukkah, and then as the show progresses and Chica is shown to be more conscious of her failures, she's shown to cry more, she's shown to be a lot weaker than Hanukkah was, right? You're watching Daya and you're like, this girl's a fucking mess. This girl's nothing like Ellie, right? And as that those aspects of their characters get revealed more and more, you start to recognize that these are their own characters. And that's really important, not just to someone watching the show. It's like, oh, haha, we got you. But it's also important to the characters, right? There's this whole aspect of Aquars where they sit in the ocean. They're like, are we just Muse clones? Are we just chasing
Chica's
Muse?
crying her eyes out.
Yeah, because she doesn't want to just be another Muse. She wants to be something that's on her own, right? And that's a really powerful moment in the show, at least for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Awkwards is the best, and School Idol Project sucks. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. All right. I suppose that's it for questions then. Fallen. I think I was actually going to ask a question that's not related to anything writing related
Go
at all.
for it.
Okay, just
Before
ask
we
me.
get into
Just ask me.
before we get into our writing or our fic that we were supposed to read for this week.
We had a fic we're
And
supposed to read?
that was, what are you guys doing for Christmas? It's about that time. I don't know if we'll actually get to record another podcast before Christmas holidays. I hope we
Probably
do.
not.
But are you guys doing anything cool?
I'm not.
Fuck.
I don't think I am.
Lid
either,
is planning a murder, and she's trying to figure out how she can tell us about it without exposing herself.
Doing the normal family thing, you know? Like,
I only asked because I had to order a bunch of Christmas presents today, and
Ooh.
like that was my. I'm like now realizing that because of quarantine and everything that I have to order a bunch of stuff like way prior to me having to normally, and it's
Speaking of
been interesting.
me shoving in topics that we didn't plan in advance, did you guys ever...
No, Dias, we can't.
Have you guys ever heard...
We've been recording for like an hour.
Have you ever heard that people tend to get more depressed, or I should say adults tend to get more depressed around Christmas time than they do other times of the year?
Yeah, because I have no bank account money anymore.
yeah, I can totally believe that.
It's
spend all the money.
It's
on
partially
Christmas
financial. It's apparently partially social obligation, because you're worried about, oh, is my kid going to like my gift, or are they going to throw a huge fit, right?
Oh, that's wild.
gifts. Oh, yeah, that's relatable.
I do get that though, or like people who don't really like going to social stuff being forced to go. to
Yeah,
social
like going
stuff.
to meet your family
Ugh.
and stuff.
That's fair.
Have we really
Awful.
been recording a fucking hour? What the hell?
Yeah, 54 minutes, dude.
It's yeah.
All right,
Time goes
someone
by when you're having
We talk
fun.
a lot.
someone else talk.
It's true.
My voice is going out.
Here, I'll segue this into our final segment here, where we read a fan fiction from the community, and we picked Glasses Incident last week. What did you guys think? You read it? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
Last week.
Thoughts?
I
Cute.
suggested it because I love it. Werewolf
You did.
is a very creative author, especially with how she writes. I enjoy how she writes Yo, because she writes Yo as this very friendly, like, she writes Yo in a way where you could understand why this girl is popular, right? It's like she's just a friendly person who's
sure.
trying to help out and like be nice.
When I was reading this, my first thoughts were, I'm like, man, this is written very similar to how Lid writes Yo.
Well,
like very similar.
to be clear,
Yeah,
I'm not saying that
great
about
promo.
this specific fic. This one's more of a joke fic than anything. But I'm saying, like, this author...
Oh, for sure.
This author is really good at writing Yo in a way where she's, like, a likable, just like senpai, right? Like, you can see her being, like, a good accidental flirt.
I love that. Good for her.
Fallen, you got anything to say?
I think it's normal. I didn't really like. I think it's normal. Yeah, to be honest, I just read it and yeah, I feel it's normal. I guess. I mean, the writing style is way better than mine. I can say that. It's like
Mm.
10 times way better. But in terms of the story, I think it's kind of normal for me. I just don't really like see the appeal.
Well, this one's the
Mm.
appeal is just as funny, right? Haha, everyone's gay for you, which is like hair mending when,
Yeah,
right?
it definitely has like it's definitely like a short ficlet type thingy. Like it definitely is not very polished. Like it's very like,
If you look at
it's meant to
Verworks'
be.
other stuff, you can see he's got a lot of creativity in his stories. Like he likes crossovers. He likes things like some real rare pair shit. Um, and this is just like his style is not conventional, shall we say?
Mm.
That's always good to have your own. Well, and that's the thing. It's always good to have your own style, right? Like when people read your stuff, they know it's you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked it. I liked how they kind of gave each of their own girls their own reaction
Hmm.
to her glasses. I can't say I wouldn't react the exact same. So especially with with Rico falling down with the bloody nose thing, that was pretty funny.
Oh, the most important one, right?
Yep. Yeah, I definitely like this. This definitely screams like an idea that was had in the shower, and then they got out of the shower and wrote it in like an hour and a
Just
half
like
and
banged
posted it, and
out
it was just
fifteen
like
hundred
pure
words.
gold.
Boom, got it, done.
Yeah, like pure gold, and very clearly, as evidenced by the kudos and the hits on it, it's like, man,
It's a
people love just
classic,
like
dude.
dorky sunshine girls being dorky sunshine girls.
Honestly, that's a great.
All right. Is there any do we want to like define the fic for next week then? Do y'all have any
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
we got one thrown out.
Yeah, I'm assuming, Lid, you've read this. I'll let you maybe give kind of the lowdown, the shimmy on it, like maybe just like a brief kind of summary of it, and then we can read it for next week, and then talk about it then.
Okay. The story is called Wet Painters from Ayasaki Archive. Okay. It's pretty much like it's a story that's based around Yoshiko and Hanamaru, and their job is to paint a room, and Daya puts them up to the task for it. Except Yoshiko, she's gonna get into something, and Hanamaru's just kind of there to watch it all go down. So it's really great, actually. I had the
Oh,
best time reading it. Like,
Hmm.
I think it's
I'm
great.
now reading. I now read the title, and I now know exactly how this is gonna play out, and this is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's like a SpongeBob parody from like their episode when Patrick and SpongeBob were painting Mr. Krabs' like room. It's
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, and he gets to paint on
dude,
the dollar sign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
classic SpongeBob, top tier. We should steal more ideas from them.
We should.
this is actually such a good idea for a fic, honestly. That goes to show how good SpongeBob's writing is, that you can just like take the concept
Dude, I
and
was
like
about to
apply it to
say,
really any
what do
situation.
you think it was about those early SpongeBob episodes that hit so hard? Because like, I think a lot of them just like had really good moments. You know?
I
Yeah.
think it was down to like the joke writing especially, because if you look at the newer SpongeBob episodes, like past season 6, you can you can tell a lot that the writers were just like,
There's
they either weren't the same or they
how
didn't
many
care as
seasons of
much.
SpongeBob?
I have no idea.
Too
It's still
many.
going, I
Too
think.
many.
Too
Too
many.
many.
I mean, that's true
Yeah,
of
they should have
everything.
stopped.
Shows need to end, dude. Like, honestly.
Yeah, Love Live wasn't good after Sunshine.
Dias, we haven't even got a full season.
Controversial but true, I feel.
Oh wait, are
Sorry,
you
Music
serious?
Saki.
Wait, no. I really like the new anime.
Oh, I'm serious.
We got
I
to talk about Niji when they're done with their season.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we can definitely have like a season in review or something like
I'm
that. But
enjoying it
yeah, I
so
have not
far,
been keeping up with it.
but like I'm just here for cute girls, dude. I'm not like focused on plot shit.
I suppose that might make it better for you. Yeah, I'll
Hmm.
have to. We can definitely do that, and like whenever the season ends, we could have like a big like podcast special where all we talk about is the
I
new
mean,
Niji anime
like I'm
ending.
trying to think about it. Is there even like a real plot? Yeah. To the
I don't
Niji
I
side.
think
think
that's my
so.
problem with it.
It's
Yeah.
just, you're just like, no angst, get me out.
I need a hurt.
No one's been slapped yet. No
Yeah.
one's been slapped yet.
That's the critical aspect of of a good Love Live anime, isn't it? Someone needs to get slapped.
Honestly.
All right.
Okay. We done?
No,
How long have we been recording?
not long.
Hour and 3?
It's like 10 minutes.
Hour and 6 minutes.
The fuck?
Yeah, we could make that into a long podcast.
Definitely.
All right.
We never know how to end these things, so
I was about to say, all right, everyone fuck off, but then I feel bad because like I feel like Fallen usually is like the outro guy, isn't he?
he can be.
Fallen,
Go
do
for
the
it.
thing.
Fallen, give us your best outro.
Let's go.
Fallen, tell us to fuck off.
Alright. Fuck you and fuck off. Bye. There we go.
Dias left.
Dice, you came back.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, fuck off.
I love you. I care about you, viewers. Don't worry. I won't say fuck you.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We'll see you soon. Maybe.